Now, I've been seeing a lot of talk about having the Court of Owls be a main antagonist in the sequels to Matt Reeves' The Batman. While I do think this could work, I also get the cases against it, but I don't think these negatives are as negative as they seem. So I read the Court of Owls storyline every Wednesday as they dropped, and I love the story. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are goats, and I love seeing their work explored in these other mediums. Now, the Batman already used elements from Snyder and Capullo's Batman Zero Year book, and now this isn't the only reason that I like to bring the Court of Owls into these movies. I feel like the first movie just set them up perfectly. Now, I feel like this could be an overarching villain. Overarching? Whatever. With the lead up. The Court of Owls, they're the perfect villains to set up in minor ways, in the sequel, little hints and clues to their existence and what they're up to, and that also fits well within their character, I guess. I know the whole court thing takes place, pretty deep in Batman's career, and that's usually, the one criticism I see. And that is true, but I feel like, they'd make a great earlier villain for Bruce too. Not to mention how in the books, Bruce did investigate them when he was younger, and he just didn't bore no fruit. You know what I mean? So yeah, and of course in the comics, he had the benefit of having help from the Bat family because of the sheer number of talons, but luckily this movie would be like a more grounded take, and you can kind of scale back that aspect of the story. The first movie was very much about corruption and greed, how a good thing created by one of Gotham's elites could be twisted into a power vacuum. This obviously had a drastic effect on politics. Plenty of politicians and people in power were involved in these dealings, and that's where I think the future of these movies can tie everything together, where the Court of Owls are concerned. The Court of Owls, they're old money and greed. Powerful people with old money controlling things from the background can work so well in this Gotham, especially from what was established in the first film. They also have ties to the circus, which works really well in the Batman 2 because I personally hope that we see Dick Grayson involved. I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity to really plant the Court of Owls seeds in the story. And side note, I would love to see Robin, man. I feel like Maroni needs to be released from prison after the events of the first movie. Maybe having Tony Zuko being released with him as a result of that case would be interesting. The movie did a good job of showing how a sidekick could essentially help this version of Batman. He's not a do-it-all-yourself Batman. He had a partner for the whole movie. You can definitely see Robin as being an asset, but we'll leave that for another time maybe. Anyways, the massive aspect about the Court of Owls that would work perfectly in this trilogy, and that always seems to be ignored by everything else when they involve this group of characters, is Owlman. No, not like Earth 3 Owlman, but the main universe version. He was known as Lincoln March, a mayoral candidate just like Thomas Wayne Sr. was in The Batman. It just ties together so perfectly. Lincoln March was revealed to be possibly Thomas Wayne Jr. through this whole fiasco. You should definitely read the story. But essentially, he was also in an orphanage in the same city where Bruce Wayne lived in a mansion. And I feel like this could work because you see in this version of the character, or in this version of Batman, the flaws in Thomas Wayne. You see that he's a flawed person, that he made some stupid decisions, he made some mistakes, and things got overlooked, things happened. So seeing that this child could end up in an orphanage could really work out. Now, we already learned about the conditions of the orphanage in the first movie. The way this could tie together is beautiful. Now, while I wouldn't want it to be a rehash of the Riddler's motivations, having him also be at that orphanage, it could still be a very powerful storytelling tool. And with the writing displayed in, the Batman, I have no doubt that they will come up with something creative. Maybe he doesn't have any resentment like Nashton did. The story possibilities literally have me, hype beyond belief, and I really hope they touch on this. The base of Lincoln March's character can be intact, but you can change it to fit the time period of the Batman, wherever Batman is, in that point in his career. And he doesn't have to be called Lincoln March. That's just, That's the fake name. Call him whatever you want to keep the mystery. You know, have Batman have to use all the skills that he acquires in this ultimate personal challenge that all harkens back to everything in the first movie. It will be so beautiful. You know, I really do believe that this is a dope way for the story to continue. You know, but what do you think? You think I'm out of my mind? Do you agree with the Court of Owls being in these movies? Would you be mad if they weren't? Would you be mad if they are? I'd love to hear y'all thoughts, so drop some comments, and thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, alright? Peace.